And that's what I'm saying. Dogecoin is definitely going to go up by next year. Please, it has to. At this point, I'm already. Oh, hey. Before we get into the first impression, be sure to play and download the Compass Star. Also give it a rating. Anyway, as I was saying, Dogecoin is definitely going down. I know it for sure.
Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we're doing a first impression of Askaria the Decay, made by Syrian Sueng. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Now we've got two versions of the games, 1.11 and 1.12. This person has kindly left me a great comment on my game, so I only feel like it's right to repay the favor, and I'll play your game, leave you some feedback. In these videos, this is the first one by the way, I've already played the game, so I'm going to just go through kind of like an abridged version of the game. You'll see cuts and edits of in-betweens. I've made notes in my head about things I wanted to give you feedback on, things I like, things I didn't like, so hopefully you can grow from this. And Siren, stay tuned till the end. There is something I want to tell you. RPG Maker is notorious for having terrible sound control. I've already lowered everything, but it's still like, it's crazy overpowering. And that's not your fault, it's just how the engine works. Even if you turn stuff down, it's still really loud. So we have our basic stuff here. As the first game, this is just something I want to point out to anyone in general. In RPG Maker, you can change these windows that you have here. It's not very hard at all. I would just say change it. Even if you don't have a good idea of what you want, changing it is probably the best option anyway. So we're going to go ahead, as you can see, continue. I've played quite a bit of the game already, but I have an idea of what I want to say. So first thing is first, we start off the Kingdom of Askaria 160 years ago. So we have King Askaria here. What's the meaning of this intrusion? It's been a long time, Askarian. Arethi? I think that's how you pronounce it. Ah, you're still as lovely as the last time I saw you. And the Prince Askarian moves back. So the prince here, I'm going to use my mouse sometimes to point things out. Again, we're going to make cuts. The prince here walks onto the curtain. Maybe make him walk over here to the side. I mean, this dude can't enter easily this way anyway. And that's a very simple thing. You already know how to do that. I came for you. I no longer have need for your services. Sorry, I'm a bit dyslexic, so I read stupidly. You left me no choice in this matter. Just as you left me no choice. What are you doing? So, Arethi here is getting revenge on the Askarian king, or some sorts like that. This cutscene doesn't last too long, so I'm glad about that. And then you get this, hear me, hear my call, please lend your aid. It doesn't matter who I am, my time has long since passed. What matters now is Askaria needs you. My son needs you, please help him. What do we have here? Feudal plea for help? Who might that be? Are you turning the course to your side, my dear queen? You have a few options here for these three characters, and I'll talk about this a little later. I picked Callie from my main playthrough, and you have Avani, Thalion, and Callie. There's some events you can do, and you don't need really a plugin for this, where it's like if, let's say you make the fade out, right? You make it black, but you have a character here, here, and here. When the character is standing on this position, you can make them then say, show this image of this character, and maybe like a little brief story or whatever. And then when the person moves to the next side, it shows this one, and then they move to this one and it shows this one. Maybe you could use a plugin, but I know you could do it without one. You can then choose like you want to choose this character, you just press the enter button, or you say no, and then you can have free movement. When you touch this one, player touch, it'll show the next one, player touch, it'll show the next one. That way, at least you know who these characters are without having to click all of this. Let's choose Callie, right? Animal Warrior, and then if I just click through, is this you? Press no. So let's say I pick Callie again, right? What should she possibly do? She should probably just stay standing here, right? But when you do Callie again, she walks forward just a little bit, and then no, I wanted to test this before, like if we go all the way through. Sorry if you can hear my mouse clicks. And then Callie again, and then right there, Callie again, and I'm not sure how far she'll go. Most likely she stops here because she cannot, and the game is now locked because she cannot continue moving. So what you can do here is set this as unmovable. That way events cannot move past this point, and then check off wait for completion. So right now she's waiting to complete her task, but she can't do it because she's stuck at the end of the map. I would assume it's the same for these guys. Him even shorter, since he'll probably stop right at the crystal, unless the crystal is part of a parallax, which it doesn't look like. So again, just check that kind of stuff off. This is your first game, first time, so I understand. These are pretty common things that can happen. Please, Callie, save my son, and in doing so, save Askaria. So here we have your main character. Each of the characters actually start off in different towns, which is pretty cool. There's really nothing to do in your town, so you're going to go ahead and talk to this guy. He's going to bring you to the capital or whatever it is. And then you have the capital here. Pretty big map. I would say add a lot more NPCs around the area to make it feel more alive. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and talk to this guy, and he's going to bring you to the king, and you go through the whole shebang. So you go through your own cutscene. You're gonna get this party of 4. It seems like no matter which character you choose. And so here we get a lot of dialogue from these characters. I would say change this. What I mean by change, and we'll talk about it as we get into like the battle area. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. If you don't get out of my way, thank you. Look how many save files I have in this game. I played it quite a bit. So we're gonna go ahead to this forest. Now these enemies are aggressive AF. They will chase you down, and I'd recommend against that. They're a bit too aggressive because the battles are too long, and the battle music is playing now, so that is probably louder than I think it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. This is the type of battle where the gauge has to fill. I'm not sure what it's called. I never really use them, but you have characters that use TP skills, and I use guard on accident, by the way. I didn't mean to. They use TP skills and like regular skills. So we have blow, which does decent damage. Another character has blow. I would just say not have two characters have the same attack. Willpower increases everyone's power, so we're gonna go and do that. That's just an average buff of 25%. And then we're gonna do a special attack, Riptide, which we need TP for. We're gonna just go ahead and attack. We should do pretty good damage there. I think it's pretty good to have your little buff attack. And this one, I believe that buff won't matter to that. Like, I get it. Oh, okay, I missed. Let's go ahead and do that again. It should be even a bigger buff. Yeah, look at those beefy arrows. Riptide itself is too weak. Look, it does 37 damage. I can do more than that in like a regular attack. So you want to change Riptide to be a little stronger. Don't worry, I had problems like that too in my game, where an attack just wasn't strong enough or didn't vary enough. Battle balancing can always be a difficult task. So go ahead, finish that. We found some clothes, stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead through this forest. What's really important when you have really big areas like this, or even long battles, is to have something happen in between it. So let's say they hit here. This is when we get time to flesh out the character party, because we're introduced to this party, but I realistically don't know anything about them. Which, I mean, all players are not going to have any idea who your characters are. It's a nice thing that you put that little touch event there. Not touch event, but interaction event. Maybe make it a bit more obvious. That way people can figure out how to get this treasure chest. I think the little hint here is fine enough, but maybe if there's some sort of icon, or maybe like a sparkle, something like that, that tells the player they can reach that. So you can see another enemy is already on my ass. Like, they're so aggressive. And because the battles take a little too long, you don't really need too much crazy strategy to beat the battles. I would just say lower the enemy count, or really rebalance the fights. Both of those are pretty daunting in my opinion, but I think one or the other needs to be done. I think you needed to slow down because there's too many characters. About to get double teamed. Oh my god, here we go. Oh, they legitimately can't attack. Oh, never mind, I was wrong. Balancing for them should be weaker, but obviously faster. I think that's what you should do. And maybe they should have, I don't know, like a swift skill, right? That always attacks first. That way, and then mix them in with like the regular forlorn. Don't just put 3 of them together. Make like 3 to 4. 3 to 4 seems like a little too much. Maybe 2 troops. 1 with the forlorn, 1 with like 2 forlorns, and 1 dog. That way your priority is to take out the dog, right? They shouldn't have poison at all, I don't think. They don't come off as a poison enemy. more like you know, they look like a hell beast, right? So maybe like a fire attack or something like that. But this is what the battles end up happening. They end up being more of press the attack button, and I think it's fine if you have battles that have your players running through their skills more often. I think that's fine. Oh yeah, I forgot we're poison. If you have a state like poison, just remove it by the end of the battle. I'm sure most people don't particularly like it. So you have these camp areas also. We're gonna go ahead and make camp. So yeah, you have this camp area too. I think first and foremost, before we really can talk to these characters, I think they should have more bonding in between, like traveling, right? So when we're going through this forest, have auto events run that are especially pointing you to the right direction, that tell you where to go. Because these woods already have too many areas. But if you want to break that monotony, you can have them say things like, "Oh, what, you know." I'm not 100% sure. Just show them bonding more often, though. I've tried to pull a thing right off the top of my head, but I can't. But that's a really long section of the game. When I first played it, it took me, I want to say 20, almost 30 minutes to get through it. And there was nothing between the characters. Remember, you have 4 members in your cast, so you need to flesh them out. If not, I would say start with a lower number. And this pillar right here, you can't pass through, but this one you can. I would just say maybe make this one unpassable too, or obviously make this one passable. It's really your choice. I myself avoid anything like this because I'm bad at it. And I use parallax mapping 100% for everything. I don't do things that might require me to think like this. So it's really your choice. I just know my weaknesses very well, and I try not to do that. So I want to go here. This is your library. What you do is talk to this old lady here, Sinera, and she's going to tell us a little story about the Forgotten Prince. And she says the book is somewhere upstairs. So we're going to go ahead and look for the book. Oh, forgot to save, by the way. The book is, I believe, this one. Julius, yep, that's it. It's not that you give us a prompt to say, hey, you might not be able to turn back from this point. Alright, and then we enter this dungeon here. There's more enemies around here too, but what we're looking for is a key, which I believe is up here. Let's see if that enemy follows me all the way up. He does. Let's see if I can beat him out. There you go, haha. And from there, we just enter the catacombs. There is a book we have to read. Like, there's a lot of points where you can learn about the world, but I think the characters matter first before the world. The lore and everything else can be experienced through the characters, how they live and stuff like that. And then when people are open up to your characters, then they can be like, oh, well, now the lore means something a bit more to me. And I think one of the biggest issues right now is that the lore or the story behind it seems kind of impersonal to the main party. There's nothing really personally connecting them outside of, you know, just doing the job. Let's go ahead and head back to the library. This way we have to talk to Sinera again. And something else you should add is some sort of Sinera, hey. Anyway, is colored text. I put it in my game, and I think color text asterisk, something that tells a player what to do next, because I can't tell you how many times I got lost or just generally forgot what to do. And this happens quite often for most players. So any sort of way to tell them, hey, you forgot something, or hey, maybe check this out, is always important. So like maybe like a journal book or whatever. So like let's say I have an item, like a key item, right? And it's like my journal. When you use this item, it'll do a common event that maybe is based off a switch or whatever. It says, oh yeah, we're supposed to go here or whatever. Or have a place where the characters can always reconvene and talk about something. So that could be an inn, which I haven't actually gone to one, to be honest, because I didn't feel like spending the money. So let's try and look for an inn real quick. Hello, would you like a room? It costs 15-0. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so yeah, if you're gonna have an in section, make it so if you don't have any other way of reminding the player what they need to do, make it so that when they go to the end, they can remind themselves, hey, I need to do this, hey, I need to do that, or we should really get going to XYZ. It's south of the village, you know, that kind of thing. So here we're gonna go ahead and activate this switch. Someone cries for help up there. We need to go save them, or help them out, I guess. Here they are. What's going on? Thedan. So they say a place called Thedan was attacked. Go ahead and help them. When you talk to him again, though, he says the same thing. Just put a self switch there. Self switch A or B, whatever. It doesn't matter. Wow, don't attack me. So next we're gonna head to Thedan, which the player really only will know if they look at these. You wanna attack me? Huh? You wanna attack me? Get out of my way. Oh shoot! Get out of my way. So we're going to go ahead and head to Thedan, which is down south, which is not this way. It is a little further on the other side. So we're going to go ahead to Thedan, which is the only touch interact switch, by the way. So most of them have been touched for transfer events. This one is like press the button, enter or whatever, interact. And then you can see right there was a change tint. What I like to do when I do transfer events is I like to do a manual fade out. So I fade out and then I put anything that's going to switch scenes in between that fade out. So it fade out and then under it is tint screen. And then it's transfer the player and then it's fade in. And that way you avoid, because that transfer event will fade in and out before you hit that scene, right? So this auto run happens on the top, it might say change. Or maybe the fade in, the characters are popping in, and then, you know, just do it right before. Because you can still have events happen even after that transfer event. So, like text or whatever will still happen. So, no, the Forum overwhelmed the guards. Are we too late? Don't think about it right now. We just need to help. Quickly then. You're right. Let's go. So, right here, the characters are talking, and they say nothing about my goal. So, you should add the goal of defeat all the Forlorn. Because I was running around, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? So you want to add like, oh yeah, we gotta beat all the Forlorn. Let's clear the Forlorn or whatever through the village. And then you have like a good general idea of what you need to do. Again, always directing the player is the best thing. Like, you should never really let them not know what they need to do. Unless it's like part of a puzzle or whatever. And so we're gonna go ahead and fast forward. This part is called Hold Z to Win. Okay, so we're hitting the last Forlorn here, and the biggest thing here, you've seen it, I've already fast forwarded through all of it. I really did just hold Z to fight all of these battles, and really the only person who got hurt is Nisa here because she's the magic person, right? Like so, right? Speaking of which, like I've had no reason to use any of these. I'm going to use this one though right now. So what you need to do is switch it up. Like I said, like the dogs having more different skills, and I don't have anything for that. And these enemies in here need to be a bit more, what do you call it? Have more variety, because right now they don't have any variety. Go ahead and heal herself here. And because of that, like, it all seems like the same. Well, it all is the same battle. Having a bigger Forlorn or whatever, and I know these are, I don't know if they're Visual Stellar or whatever. I'm not a master at recognizing assets, but what you can do if you don't have your own custom assets is switch up the assets that are already available. So instead of having this like black one, change the hue just a little bit, and you can do that in the RPG Maker engine itself. You can change the hue of the characters or the monsters, or you just get one and then resize it and make it a little bigger. That way it kind of just recognizes, oh yeah, this one's stronger than your average, right? And so now we're going to heal all the villagers. I like this part of the section of the map. Like, if your gameplay loop was save villages, I think that'd be really cool. Like, disperse the fire, and then you can make and we gain experience for this too, by the way. And then you can make it about like a village saving game, and I think that's really, really cool. So we're gonna go here, save this person down here, and there's some of them I always miss. Is this guy right here. I always miss him for whatever reason. There we go, he's saved. But yeah, I think there's an idea. This guy changes when you touch him at a different angle, so most likely his direction fix isn't on. So it's really cool, and I think you could do something about having a game about saving villages from the Forlorn and whatever. I think you could stretch that idea out. There's other things that need to be cut. I think a lot of your lore just needs to be cut from the early game. Most players won't feel anything for it. We're leveling up again. It's a nice way to get levels. Like, if you just think this is the way your players will level up and stuff like that, I think it's cool. Go ahead, more. And I think we're done. They say a knight exists. Here he is. He's right here. Now this is the end of the game, because there's literally nothing else I can do. Right here, there's no touch event. There's no nothing. He tells us to go to Askaria, and I can't talk to him again. And Askaria doesn't work. You cannot return to the original point that you came from, which is over here, up here, I should say, up here. So you really can't get back any way this way. So this is pretty much a hard lock. I think it's probably a switch or something else that isn't working properly, or you have your transfer event set to above player so they can no longer touch it. Regardless, there's something to fix here, because there's no way to proceed from this point on. So we're gonna go ahead and save the game. How long did that take me? About 24 minutes, right? So after knowing the game, I think I can blitz through it pretty fast. As you can see, the other ones, like up to almost an hour I was playing the game. That's when I was reading through everything. So we're gonna go ahead and close this game, and I'll give good feedback from this point on. So first and foremost, I want to say that good job on completing your game for the game jam, or at least submitting it at this point. Most people haven't. We have 120 entries, and there was 300 people who entered. So you made it to that, select few of people who actually submitted a project. Congratulations. Hopefully you take the feedback and change it into something else, or adapt from it, or grow from there. After playing your game through twice, by the way, I played it through twice, and this is the third time. I can feel like I can give you some really good feedback. First and foremost, I would try to find an artist or even yourself. You don't have to be good at drawing, by the way, to make some custom assets. The original RTP characters, the sprites and whatever, I would just avoid using them like the plague, because anyone can do it. Even if you use a minimalistic design, I wouldn't want a very, very minimalistic design for my character sprites, and I think it works perfectly fine. It might turn some people on and off, but that's the decision I made, and some design decisions, you have to stick by. So first and foremost, I think you should not use the original RTP sprites. Maybe go with something different. Vigistella has some pretty good tall sprites that aren't being commonly used, so I would go with that. It's in their Vigistella character maker, and they even have a bust character maker, so I would really just maybe see the going towards that. Anything to change up the default look of RPG Maker games right now. You have the character select in the beginning. All the characters, I don't know if I said this in the video, all of them start at different points, which is cool, but none of those points really matter when none of the characters do anything important in the beginning. I'm personally biased towards Callie. I like Callie a lot, so I think you should go with her as your protagonist. Have her doing something that matters to her. So in her title it says she's a hunter, so maybe have her start off hunting something. She's hunting like a boar or whatever. The Forlorn come and attack her village. This is where you can get into like the village saving mechanic, because over story your gameplay should matter, right? Unless you can pinpoint the story to keep the players wanting to play, which is more of like a visual novel thing, right? And that's the route I went. You don't have to do that. I'm just saying, like, as an idea. So have Callie be affected by the Forlorn, the Decay, so she can be personally invested into the story. Because right now she doesn't feel personally invested. None of the characters really feel personally invested, and I think that's the biggest issue. You're just playing as these classes pretty much, and even then their classes don't vary too much. They all are kind of the same. So you really want to vary your characters not only from story but gameplay as well. So I think you can just totally cut the character selection unless you really flesh out those characters, and then over time build that party. If you look at any like Tales of games, you can see that the party grows over time, and even then you have the skit segments, you have a lot of stuff to build together your party and to get the player invested in the relationships of your characters. A lot of RPG Maker games go with this very big idea of 4 characters. You don't have to do that. Start with 1 and then balance the gameplay for that 1 character. Don't like throw 3 Forlorn at just 1 character. Like if you just have Callie alone, don't throw 3 at her in the beginning. Instead, make a version of it that's way weaker, and then as you go on getting more party members, keep buffing those versions, those troops, in order to match the number of party that will interact with them. But if you want to talk about more details, I think you could really flesh it out. You left such a great comment, a nice comment. You even rated my game, which is very kind of you. By the way, if you haven't rated the Compass Star yet, what are you doing? Go play the game, rate it. Whether you loved it, whether you hated it, I want you to rate it. And leave a comment too. So, Syrian, if that's how you pronounce your name. If I'm wrong, just correct me. Always feel free to correct me. If you want, I was already thinking about doing this anyway. I would love to draw Callie, your character. Hit me up. I'll leave a link tree in my Discord. Hit me up any way you want. My Discord is called Blue Riser, just in case you see the name, you're like, that's not the one you're going. It's Blue Riser. Hit me up. I would love to redraw Callie, and maybe I would like to talk about doing another project with you. Of course, free of charge. I'm not going to charge you anything for it. It would require you to learn a few things, but if you're willing, let's do it. And maybe we can see like a even better version of Askaria. But I will, ask to change some things up to kind of just fit like what I have too, because I feel like I could put your stuff in with mine as well. But we can talk about it more. So if you're up to it, hit me up and I'll let you know for sure. So other than that, I'm done here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll be trying to get more games done as soon as possible. But these videos will come out around sometime after 12 p.m. Eastern, I think. I need time to edit them. And that about does it. So I'll definitely see you guys next time. Peace out.